When Germany occupied the Channel Islands, islanders lost a privilege that they had enjoyed for more than a century. They could no longer send or receive mail from abroad. For example, when mail was posted from the UK to Guernsey, a no service hand stamp was applied and the cover returned to sender. However, thanks to the International Committee of the Red Cross, it would soon become possible to exchange brief messages with relatives and friends living abroad. Not your everyday World War II postal history. We'll take a look at a PC-11 slip on a Red Cross form mailed from the UK to Guernsey, 1942 to 1943. The German occupation of the Channel Islands lasted for most of the Second World War, from the 30th of June 1940 until their liberation on the 9th of May 1945. Here is a closer view of Guernsey. First, we will take a look at how the Red Cross mail was processed. Using a Red Cross form, the mail would take anywhere from 4 to 7 months to reach the recipient and return to sender. The forms cost 6 pence each. Messages from Guernsey use the German Red Cross message form, language in German and French, including a sender's portion and a response. Now, we will look at mail from the UK to Guernsey. Messages from Great Britain use the British Red Cross Form 61, language in English and French. The boxed area shows the primary handlers of the British Red Cross mail, British Red Cross and the Geneva Red Cross. During the war, all mail to and from the Channel Islands must move through these two Red Cross agencies. Message composed using the Type 3 Red Cross Form 61 sent by John Herbert Farmer on the 23rd of November 1942, addressed to Clifford Olger in Pigeon Land, Brock Road, Guernsey. No return address was allowed for messages to the Channel Islands because the sender's return address was held already in the London postal offices. The completed front of the message form was dropped off or mailed to the local Red Cross Bureau, in this case, Red Cross Message Bureau, 553 Queen Street, Exeter. The red DK1557 at the top right, applied at the 553 Message Bureau, was the serial number for this particular sender's message. From the local bureau 553, the message was forwarded to the British Red Cross headquarters in London, where the messages were bundled in groups of 10 and sent to the General Post Office in London for censoring. On the 28th of January 1943, the sender's form was censored by the British Post Office, red octagonal hand stamp past number 155. From London, messages were sent by rail to a Channel port, most likely Weymouth in Dorset, then by sea to Lisbon in neutral Portugal. Or messages were flown directly from London to Lisbon, where they were met by representatives of the British Red Cross or the ICRC. From Lisbon, the messages are sent on to Marseille, either by sea around Gibraltar and through the Mediterranean, or by rail through Spain and Vichy, France, probably via Madrid, Valencia, and Barcelona. From Marseille, the messages were forwarded to the ICRC headquarters in Geneva, the receipt acknowledged with a circular Red Cross hand stamp, where they were placed in individual envelopes. From Geneva, the messages were sent either to the German Red Cross in Berlin or to the German Red Cross Directorate in France. Regardless, a circular acknowledging Red Cross German hand stamp was applied. On March the 22nd, 1943, when the message arrived in Guernsey, the rectangular hand stamp was applied. States of Guernsey, Red Cross Bureau. The March 22nd, 1943 date either applies to the Guernsey receipt of the message or the posting of the reply. Now we'll look at how the return response was handled. Replies to messages, or messages originating in the Channel Islands, traveled the same route, but in reverse, and were also censored by Germany and England. Again, when the return message arrived in Berlin, it received the Red Cross Acknowledgement Receipt hand stamp. Also, at this time, the German censors excised part of the message by cutting out an offensive section. This is a scarce method of German censoring on a Red Cross form, the only example I have seen. Usually, the offensive section would be blacked out. The reply message form continued on its route to Geneva, Switzerland, where the Red Cross circular hand stamp was applied. When the return message arrived at the London, England General Post Office, June the 6th, 1943, the message was again censored, a blue octagonal hand stamp past number 171. A PC-11 slip, type 2B variation, dealing with mutilation of the letter, where letter was crossed out and message inserted, referring to the excised part of the return message. The slip was pinned to the Red Cross form. A comment about the PC-11 slip. 11 types of the PC slip are recorded. 1. It is a variation of another PC slip, type B2. Printing font is larger and the spacing is different, although other variations are listed. This one is not. So, this is a rather scarce manuscript change to the slip. Here is an example of another message to Guernsey, where the Germans brushed a chemical on the paper to reveal invisible messages. The chemical left usually blue streaks behind, and no violation was found on this form. This form would retail for about $30 Canadian, whereas the previous excise censoring form, along with the altered PC-11 slip, would retail for about $400.